So to zoom out to the entire layer, we can go back to census divisions, right mouse click, and then zoom to layer extent, and that takes us all the way back out. So simple enough. I make sure that I have census division highlighted, and then I right mouse click so that I can get the open attribute table. And there we have a whole bunch of attributes right there. And you may find that some of these names are a little bit hard to read. This is not QGIS's fault. What happens is that the shapefile format created by Esri uses the dbase file format for the attributes, and there's a limit of only 10 characters per field in that format. And that means that things with similar names end up looking quite different, and it becomes kind of awkward to give them unique IDs. It's a bit like back in the days of the early days of computers when you only had 8 characters for a file name. It was very difficult to figure out what different things were. There's something called metadata in some GIS programs and in databases, of course. And this is a place where you could right mouse click or do some special clicking and find out more information about this CD type, PRUID, PR name, etc. So in this case, CD name is census division name, census division ID, census division type, province ID, 48 is Alberta, province name, Alberta, population for the census division, and so forth. And then we have population for 2 different time periods, and it goes on from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some more an advanced search. So before we actually looked for a single instance or several instances, and we did Alexander, and we put the field name right here, and that was a very simple kind of query. Here we're going to press the advanced search button, and we get this particular situation. So the query we're going to build is the people who have treaty status. In this case, ABI North is the field name. Apologize for the name, that's just the way it came. And we want to find those instances where the number of First Nations people is greater than the number of people who are Métis within each census division. So it's going to find out all the census division where there are more First Nations people than there are Métis. You gotta remember that with Métis it's a little different definition than the treaty status, because these are people who self-identify, and therefore the numbers are not very reliable. But you know, there you have it. One thing you can do is you can press the test button to find out if this is actually going to work, and it says here that I found 10 matching features. So that means that there are 10 census divisions where the number of treaty status people is greater than the people who are Métis. If we say OK, then it will go and run the thing. And for those of you who are into databases, it says here SQL, structured query language is what SQL stands for. And it's a database language so that you can go from one database to another and use the same commands. And a lot of GIS support the structured query language, the SQL. And as a result, you can actually, once you learn how to do things one way in one GIS, you can go and do it in another way. And this is the equivalent of the select command, but we won't get into that. But you know, once you get deep into GIS, you get deep into database analysis. So I'll say OK, and it highlights all these records, indicating that all these are actual matches, and it tells me that there are 10 different census division out of 19 where the number of people who are treaty status is greater than the number of people who are Métis. So we can see here both the table and the map. So the yellow areas are the areas that were selected. So these are all the census divisions where the number of First Nations people is greater than the Métis. So kind of interesting to sort of look at the pattern and so on. Once again, knowing that the data is not exactly 100% reliable. So you know, that's just the way it goes. You can also do another query, and in this case we'll once again open the attribute table, and this will do an advanced search, and we'll say there's a field here called INC. Where is it? And there's the INC government. Once again, this field is not that reliable, and these are looking at what we're going to be doing is looking at instances where the census division, the income, more than 20% comes from government transfers, and so that could be to to people who are First Nations or non-First Nations people, etc. And the government transfers comes. It's a broad category that can encompass a whole bunch of different things, so it's not a very fair type of field. But once again, the idea here is to look at how GIS can work with attributes and not worry about the data itself. So in this case, this field has percentage of the income that is from the different sources, and in this case from government transfers. So we're going to find all the census divisions where the transfers are more than 20%. And I'll say OK, and it's found 5 different ones. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instances where the government transfers are more than 20% are from government sources. So just a quick kind of query just to find out some more information.